All right. Okay, there we go. So broadcast is once again live. So say hello to the internets, everyone. Say hi, internets. Wave to the internet. So this is another paradigm shift after party hangout following episode 97, which was about lucid dreaming with our guest Thomas Pizel, who is actually joining us here in the after party hangout. And yeah, I was going to say, like, there was a lot of stuff that came up in this episode, and there was probably even more stuff that didn't come up in this episode, just like little things that I just forgot to mention that are things that we can talk about here. But just kind of maybe passing this over to Thomas, because I know we were having some technical difficulties at the end. Was there anything that you just wanted to sort of preface this conversation topic with, and then we'll just sort of get the ball rolling, and then anybody can kind of jump in on it as they see fit. But yeah.
I forget what I said at the end, but I'm curious to hear from everyone else, just because we spoke for 2 hours. I'm always interested to hear from other people about their experiences and their insights.
Yeah, like Victor, you were just sharing a dream that you had last night about like running on water and stuff like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was incredible. I've never experienced anything like that before. I've had like all sorts of other physical like intense dreams, but nothing ever to do with water or even being underwater. I remember Thomas was talking about like being able to breathe underwater in his backyard. I think I've never had any like experience with water in a dream. I think there's some support like supposed to be some sort of connection with spiritual ascension almost, like you're going further in your spiritual like intentions, something like that. Somebody was trying to explain to me, but it was incredible. Like if I slowed down, I'd start to sink underwater, but all I had to do was just like speed back up again and just like go from like beach to beach. There was a point where I like made it to the other continent. I wasn't sure if it was like Hawaii or if I was seeing like Asia, but I was like going all across the earth, just running as fast as I could on the water. And it wasn't even like I was setting the intention to be like, hey, what if I try to run on water? It was like I was in a lucid dream, but I was teleported to a place where I was just running on water, and that's just the scenario I was in. And it wasn't like a sense that I was questioning it. I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna go fly and do something else and go hang out with people. I was just like, I'm running on water. I'm just gonna enjoy running on water because for some reason my mind just cooked up this scenario that is awesome, and I wasn't even thinking about this at all in the past few days or in the past few months. Why am I running on water? It was awesome, but it was an awesome dream, and I had a great day before that, so it made my day even better. And you know, something I've noticed with dreams that like such as those ones are, you go to bed and you wake up like you just had another day, but you're not exhausted from it. You're like, wow, that was a great day within that experience. But yeah, that was my Friday night.
Yeah.
Nonchalant.
It'd be cool if we could literally like sort of pick our dreams from like a menu or something before we go to sleep. Sort of like, you know, choosing what video game we want to play or what movie we want to watch or something. I think that would be super interesting.
Yeah.
Or Thomas, if you're actually there, you might want to hear mine because mine will scare the hell out of you.
Alright, what was Chris saying? Chris had something to say.
Scientists, like for people with post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff, they're like looking into like their dreams in a big way, and they're trying to do hypnosis and kind of walk them through certain dreams. So like he was the Flash basically in his dream. So it's like, all right, in this dream, I want you to take the persona of Superman or something. It's pretty cool.
Something I was ranting about last Sunday in the live chat was like timelines and like the difference between. It's pretty incredible because for the past few Google Live chats, I've somehow made it to every single one. But this one, we're finally talking about lucid dreaming, and every time in the live chat, I'm just ranting about lucid dreaming, and now it's finally the topic about lucid dreaming. And one of the rants I had last week was timelines and how you'll be thrown into like a situation, and you're given a new set of memories before that situation. Like you're sitting in your cafeteria, and you're just like, oh, I just failed that test, I just bombed it. And in your school cafeteria and you're just worried about it. You're just like, I can't believe that happened. But in the dream, you never actually did the test, but you remember doing a test. It's sort of that kind of thing. You're given a new preset of memories and a new linear timeline, if linear timelines even exist. And this sort of like lucid dreaming totally shattered my perception of time, like completely. And I think that's something is interesting to discuss, that your mind can completely like concocts this totally different timeline that never existed, but it exists in your mind, and it's sort of a stream of events that could have happened but didn't.
Yeah, totally. Why are you guys so quiet today?
I know. But like, here's the thing, Thomas, is that Victor, I can see that you're like that soul that always travel around the world like Superman, but then somehow, mine is ridiculous. It's like a couple of weeks ago, I think like I told this to several of you guys already, but like I had this one lucid dream where I was in this cave. It was actually like during the nighttime. I was in that cave. When I walked in, like all the lights were all red and everything. I thought at first like, oh my god, what is this? Until when I walked around a little deeper into that cave, I found out it's like when I looked down, I was sawing all the dead bodies that I was stepping on for the past journey, and then I look around, it's like the whole cave itself is smeared in blood and everything, and the light is like it's coming out of nowhere, and all of a sudden I saw this giant altar that is covered with bodies of a naked woman that got sacrificed on this altar, and I was like, oh god, this is bad. Who is the killer of this? Until like I look around, just letting the killer to show itself, and when I finally had a chance to like I found out that the killer is coming, I was like, oh god, I had to run. I ran out the cave, like hide somewhere right in that like right in like the center of it, and try to peek out and see who it is. And then I was like, oh shoot, that was actually me, the killer, in that cave. And I was like, uh-oh. And that's how I woke up, and bam, and I was like, this is the weirdest thing I ever heard about myself.
Plot twist!
What a twist! That's like M. Night Shyamalan type twist, seriously.
What's a twist? Yeah.
You gotta go back to the cave, Andy. You gotta go back to the cave. You gotta face the fears.
Face yourself.
No. How many people?
Luke Skywalker goes to face Darth Vader when Yoda's training him. It's really you. And
I was gonna ask, how many people here have had like a dream that they woke up from and then went back to sleep and like went back into it?
Yeah, I have that.
That's interesting. Like, is that Thomas? Is that like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's always good to focus on the location you're in. So, for me, whenever I want to go into another dream that I was just having, I always focus on the location that I'm at and fully be there, fully remember what that feels like. It's always about location for me.
I had one like that whenever I was like 8 years old, and it was whenever I was in elementary school, and I was having lunch with the Transformers. So
That's incredible.
and I woke up and I was like, no, I want to go back. So I went back.
Yeah.
I was like, Optimus.
Optimus way.
Has anybody ever been like woken up from an amazing dream and like just tried to fall asleep to just get back to it because it was just so, it was like ecstasy. You just wanted it so bad.
Transformers.
Like
Yeah.
just Transformers.
One thing, yeah, there was a few things I was going to talk about on the show that I just didn't get to. Yeah, like I wanted to talk more like what Thomas was talking about the technique of like waking back up and going back to sleep, because I think that's like a super effective technique, and it worked really well for me when I had my old phone, because I would set my phone to like just vibrate, and I would just like hold onto my phone while I was asleep, so then it would like wake me up simply by vibrating, but I wouldn't have to open my eyes or anything, and then I would just push a button on it to hit the snooze, and then it would like go back for like another 15 minutes, and I would fall asleep. And then I could like keep doing this, so I would keep like waking up out of the dream and going back to sleep again, and it was like super interesting. I want to go back and try that. I just need to get. It doesn't work on my current phone in the same way.
A cool topic you guys talked about on the show was when Thomas said something about biological clocks and just setting a sort of a brain alarm. I used to do this where I just like get up at 6 a.m. without setting an alarm. I just like. After I'd like want myself to do a lucid dream, I'd also say, "Oh, and you're gonna wake up at 6 a.m. and go back to bed, so you'll have a better chance of lucid dreaming." Because I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you wake up,
I know.
Yeah, and Andy knows. Andy knows.
Dude, Victor, when you said about lucid dreaming and all those stuff, when I first do my sun gazing practice and all those stuff, I was having wild experience. You only woke up at 6. That's like the least of you can do, man. Because my lucid dream woke me up at 4. And I was like, God damn it, dude. Why do you have to wake me up around this time?
Leah!
And another thing is like, I had to, sometimes once I woke up and next thing you know, I was suffering a nightmare that, oh God, hell no. I'm not going back to sleep anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are some other like practical tips we can hit upon that would be useful? Oh yeah, one practical tip, and like I intended to mention this during the show because I saw it in the live chat, and then we just like ran out of time and I forgot. But it was like the simple tip of just being aware of like how working with cannabis affects your dream recall, because I think it's blatantly obvious, and a lot of people who are familiar with it will be able to testify that like working with cannabis will like definitely inhibit your dream recall and just like the clarity of your dreams in a lot of ways. Does anybody else have experience with that?
Yeah, that happens a lot, but then I don't even use cannabis at all.
I've had that, but more so often I'll actually like not even be able to be lucid. I'll find like I'll go to sleep and I'll just have a dream, but I guess like being in that state of mind with THC in general, it already kind of feels like a dream when you're just like having your day. With me personally, when I go back to bed, it's more like I can't really recognize the difference between waking life and the dream life, because when you're in that state, when you're awake, it feels like you're dreaming anyway. So it's kind of hard to be lucid. Dream recall is also a thing. You can remember easily as well, but for me personally, I can't be lucid when I'm in that state and asleep.
I don't know what kind of stuff you're smoking, but I mean I can see, like reality and stuff here. Like I mean it feels lucid, but it's also like solid, because whenever you're lucid, it kind of feels more like liquid. I guess that's kind of how I would describe it. Because like everything kind of just phases in with each other. It's like an acid trip. Yeah.
I get the liquid sort of and like way you described it. It definitely feels like a flowing vibe. You know, if you're just like in a pool, like in a wave pool, that's like going in a circle.
That weird like water launch.
Yeah. You're just kind of like floating in empty space that's not really deciding which way it wants to gravitate you towards. You're just kind of like, you know, just floating around. But it's just like, I loved what Thomas said about the coziness feeling you get. You can just go into your bed and just lie down. Like that's such a good way of describing it, because when you're obviously just like lying in your bed. You know, when you describe the movie Inception, it's just 7 guys lying in an airport. That's the whole movie. But it's so comfortable to be in that state and being able to do whatever you want, especially when you're flying, when you're fulfilling your dreams. Like you're just like, it's just a cozy feeling, you know. You just know your comfortability. Everybody knows their comfortable like states that they like to be in. You can just totally go into that, and it's just the best feeling that you can have.
Well,
If I
then
said
you're
the
lucky,
word,
man.
cozy spasm, would that make any sense to anybody? If I said cozy spasm, you guys know
Yeah.
what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same type of experience I get whenever I have the nightmare spasm.
Like an anxiety attack almost, but the opposite. Like you're
Well,
just
yeah,
like
it's the opposite because here's the thing. Like, while you guys are having good lucid dreams, I was like having a lot of nightmares, and then it's like, when I start running for my life, I was like running as fast as I can, like going Sonic, supersonic or something.
But you know what I mean? So you get into this cozy bed and it's so warm. It might be a little winter, so it's like it's a little colder outside than the bed is, and you get into it and you have to like freak the fuck out. Like you have to kick your feet and you're like, ugh! Like no fucking way is it this cozy. That's what I mean by a cozy spasm.
Well, on my end, like here's the thing that happens when you do lucid dream is that whenever like I was about to go on the lucid dreaming, I always had that feeling like someone is right behind me, and so I decided to give them a kick right in the face, like as though I am doing it for real.
Why are you
It
kicking?
happens.
Who are you kicking?
I was trying to kick somebody who was who was trying to grab me from behind, and I was like, who's there? Boom! I kick him. Like that was my immediate reaction. Like I trained myself to do.
Andy, you're really kicking yourself.
Yeah, I would encourage you not to kick anyone.
Yeah.
Well, I actually several times when I was a little kid, like 7 years of age, I kicked my mom when I was sleeping with her.
Yeah, I used to do that like as a baby a lot. My parents would find me just like elbowing like it's like in crazy ways. I don't know. When I was younger, I dreamt a lot, and I just like if I've noticed like this is something that's really interesting that if I'm dreaming, I wake up in the morning and my sheets are like all over the place because I guess my body was moving around with the dream. But if I'm sleeping and I don't recall the dream, and I think that like, and because we all dream every night, but it's just the process of remembering it. When I don't remember my dream, my sheets are just like normal, like nothing happened. But when I do have a lucid dream, like that running on water dream, my blanket wasn't even on my bed because I guess my feet were just kicking. My feet were just kicking as I was just running on water, like.
It's like a
an
dog,
interesting-
man.
Yeah. When you see that video of that
Just-
dog that just jumps
yeah.
in, just runs into the wall, yeah.
Did you get some
chasing
video footage of
cats,
yourself?
Yeah.
You'd be
That's what happened
surprised.
to me, man. Yeah, like when I was like in my dreams, is like I always had that feeling like somebody's about to get me, and so every time whenever that happens, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kick him right in the butt, in the face.
What's even kicking people, Andy? Jeez.
Like I'm not joking. That's like just like what Thomas said. Like if you by how you react in the dream world, that's it tells a lot about you in the real world. And
think
so like I do have violent moments, dude.
I think you're playing too much Street Fighter. No, but for me, like every time I have a nightmare, like that's like my instant lucid dream moment, and like it's really weird because I'll know something bad happening. I'm like, wait, this doesn't ever happen to me. Why would it? No, okay. So like I'll have somebody chasing me, but then I'll turn around and I'll just be like, stop it, and then they'll just disappear, and I'm okay.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people say is that, dude, you're like a guy who's like you're born to fight, man.
Yeah, I had that with sleep paralysis. I'll just be like stuck in sleep paralysis, and I'll just realize like, oh, I can't move my body in this dream, and I'm just like stuck here. But I'll realize it's just a dream, and I'll just sort of just like slip back into it. It's sort of just the process of just accepting that you're not able to move. You're stiff, but you don't fight it. You just kind of relax all your muscles and just be like, all right, this is cool, and then you just slip right back into your mind, and then you can just you kind of go. It's like a sub dream. Like sleep paralysis to me is kind of like another layer of the dream, and you're just kind of like that's where your physical state. You realize that you're just lying in your bed and you can't move your body because it's asleep, but you just have to go deeper into your mind so you can just go into that space where exploring the dream world, but you're just like, you can still feel physical like touches with your arms. You can still feel your arm like doing things. You can still feel like you're running.
Would you guys
And
mind if I directed the conversation towards? I'm just curious about what you would think about. What would this look like if we were to become conscious in our dream state and our waking life? What would that look like for the human condition? I'm just curious where you see that going, and just for opening it up to everyone else.
people would be living in the now. Everybody would be living in the now. Everybody would be living in the present moment. That's where I think it would go.
I think there would be like a combination of that, and then there'd be a lot of people who like have really messed up lives, and then like they have nightmares every night, or like at least whenever they dream, they have like really bad dreams, and then like it's just bad. So then they have like a bad time in real life because they're like, I had this dream last night, man. I'm afraid to sleep. So then you have a bunch of people with like espresso shots like every 20 seconds. So be very.
Yeah, everybody would be tuning up their psychological problems. Everybody would be like, "Oh, that was that moment in my childhood that like totally made me kind of an asshole to people."
Oh yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah,
You
everybody would be tuning up. Yeah, sure, pepperoni. Yeah.
You know,
Me-
that's what.
meat lovers.
When you guys brought that up, I was like, I wonder
Yeah.
how messed up is my childhood.
Sorry, some pepperoni.
Sorry, my dad was asking
Samurai
what kind of
Pizza
pizza.
Now I gotta look up the Samurai Pizza Cats song.
How abstract of a dream? Just a pizza appears. Oh, pepperoni, cool.
Dude, okay, the weirdest dream I've had was like I was in the ocean and there were like elephants and they were like Hindu elephants with like paint on them and they were all decorated and stuff. And they like they had like handcuffs on, they like broke them and they started thing and I was like, okay. That's the weirdest thing.
Hey, Michael.
What?
My friend Michael coming up from Austin, Texas.
Yo, Michael.
Could we hear from some female participants about
Vegetarian.
where they'd wanted to go?
I don't know if my mic works.
Get out.
Does it work?
It works.
I'll eat some.
Oh, awesome. This is crazy. I never do things like that, so.
Hey, Rebecca. Welcome
what's
to the
up?
party.
I can't tell where that's coming from, but hi. What's up?
So where do you guys
I don't
see?
usually do like technology advanced things, so this is crazy. It's crazy.
So yeah,
What do you
Thomas, we're
want
still
to
on.
input?
Well, one of the things that if you really want to fear technology is fear that we become nothing more than drones, you know?
Thomas, what was your?
Wow,
You just want to
man,
reiterate your
wow.
question?
I was just curious about asking the females here just where they would see that going if we were to embrace more of a multi-dimensional understanding. Like if you were to be fully conscious in your waking life and in your dream life, where do you see what kind of implications do you see that having?
That's a great question. Right? I mean, fully conscious act is really something hard to comprehend. Like, from the
I was gonna say,
standpoint.
like, I know you're asking the girls about. I'll just say like one thing quick, and maybe they'll just bounce off this. But I think it opens up the idea of like the whole like 7 generations behind, 7 generations ahead sort of thing, and just being mindful of like what seeds we're planting and what what it is that we're actually creating, and just taking more responsibility for that creation.
Brandon, I want to share this quote with you, and it's a Greek proverb, and I love it. It's a society becomes great when old men plant trees, and old men or women plant trees whose shade they'll never sit in.
Yes.
Wow.
When
I
we
like that one.
begin planting seeds that we might not even benefit from, we're here to plant them.
Yeah, man. Or we'll actually be able to like reincarnate into a future where we'll be able to sit under that tree someday. Yeah.
You know, if that happens, I guess I hope I would see you around Skull. Like you'll be taking rebirths where I live.
Let's all hope that we just reincarnate in the same neighborhood. We're like the neighborhood kids.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah,
us. Just us
regular
together, guys.
soldiers. Yeah.
like I can just imagine like if you guys are sleeping in the middle of the night and then all of a sudden you hear this loud scream from my end and then you're like, Andy, what the hell, man? It's like,
Oh,
Dude.
he's still having those nightmares. And he's still having those nightmares.
Ah, cobras. Ah.
and
Night terrors.
the next thing you know, I say, those are not cobras, they're demons.
Yeah,
Cobra.
I think. Yeah, Thomas will definitely like. I want to do like another episode on lucid dreaming. I would honestly like want to do one next week, but I don't know if that would be the case.
Let's go. You almost took my idea, man.
What?
You almost took my idea. I was doing mine on lucid dreaming and you almost blew it right out of the water.
Oh, like, are you has it happened yet?
It already happened 4 weeks ago.
So then I didn't steal it. So that doesn't justify.
Hey, Thomas, I want to know your take on this, because one of my recurring dreams is with animals, and like just animals. Like, it's really weird. It's kind of embarrassing, and I maybe shouldn't even say it, but just animals just cuddling with me. Like, I remember there was one. There was a deer. There was a deer just walking in my house, and I was like, "What is this deer doing here? It shouldn't be in here." And then he just like sat, like, not really sat in my lap, but sat next to me, and I just sort of pet the deer. And I've had tons of other ones with just like dogs, cats, and I'm allergic to cats. I'm not allergic to many animals. No, I'm not allergic to any animals except for cats. And I like cats, and it was awesome. There's just a cat just chilling with me. There's like dogs and like deers, and they're all just cuddling to me. I've had this recurring dream, and I don't know what it means. Just animals, just animals chilling with me. I don't know what it means.
Oh man, who has had sex with just sex in general in dreams? Raise your hand.
Yeah, I've
That
done
happens
that.
to me once.
I've done that. Yep.
Who's had sex with non-physical? sorry, non-human people?
Whoa.
Does
This
a
is getting
succubus-
weird. This is getting
Hey,
weird.
Thomas,
That-
does a succubus count?
Wow. That's interesting. I want to try that. I want to look into that. That sounds interesting. But what do you mean?
Hey, I actually did it once.
Hold on, I wanna hear what everybody except Andy has to say because Andy's gonna blow everyone out of the water. So
Andy?
Andy, let's let other people answer first.
I just mentioned that just because, I definitely have recurring animals in my dreams, but one that is always recurring is a dog. And in one dream, in a lucid dream, it was a big black bear in the back, like next to me. And I was very fearful, and I became lucid, and I realized, okay, it's part of me. I need to like feel compassion in my heart. And as soon as I did that and I shifted, it actually came around to my front side, and it sort of cuddled up next to me, but in a very sexual way. And I ended up, here I am fully lucid. I'm fully lucid. I'm very aware of what I'm doing. And I pull my pants down and I penetrate this bear.
Are you kidding me?
What?
That is the greatest couple of sentences I've ever
I think
heard.
the story.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
God.
well, that wasn't you.
You know what's really cool is that as soon as I did that, it changed into this another reoccurring character. I call her the Woman in Gold, but she is this beautiful,
Ooh.
red-headed. Has all these adornments on her shoulders and on her head, but she turned into her, and then she ended up telling me about my heritage, and she taught me some really personal things about magic and things in that realm. But it was because I penetrated a bear.
Dude, that's amazing.
You passed
That's-
Okay,
I passed the test.
incidental prostitute for sexual favors. They pay you in information. Okay.
Yeah, so I would encourage penetrating all animals.
There you go, Victor. That's a pro tip.
I would
right
not
there.
encourage that.
I don't know if I can do that to the cats and deers. I just don't know. I did do something with Emma Watson, and that's as far as I'm going with that.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank
a good
you.
dream.
I've noticed though
I would
that
suggest,
you gotta be good at it. You got to be good at it, or else like you can get like a jumbled mix of an experience, and it just doesn't really work that well. You're just kind of
Yeah.
forcing it. You're just kind of forcing it too much. You kind of just got to let things flow. If it doesn't work, then you can just move on to something else in your lucid dream. But like occasionally, so often, you can have like an amazing experience like that. But a lot of the times, it can feel forced, and you can just force the scenario, and it just doesn't. It's just weird. It feels more weird than it does a spiritually loving one than anything else.
Yeah, dreams are plenty weird. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if we could record our dreams and people were like uploading them to YouTube? Like, that would be some crazy.
That would be so
Oh
awesome.
man,
Dude,
that'd be too
think it's
much.
don't even bring up that idea, man.
I think it's too. I think it's too personal, and nobody would understand.
Dude, if I were to
Yeah.
record my
Still
dreams and
cool.
show it to you guys, you'll be labeling
Dream
my dreams as rated R,
Oh,
not
God.
for kids or
course.
PG-13. I was like, God damn it, dude, just show it already.
Has anybody died in your dream?
I
Oh,
did.
plenty.
When they came back to life.
I
That's
I
very
went through an
interesting.
out of body experience and died. It was a terrible one.
Is anybody
Some-
astral projected in a dream?
Well, that's an
Well,
interesting topic.
dream.
Yeah, that's a whole
that's an
nother
interest-
episode.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
interesting
okay.
because if you dream a place that you've been before, if you're dreaming and I've been here before, like, isn't that sort of astral projecting? Or is astral projecting like seeing your body lying down and like being connected by a
You're connected by an etheric cord.
projecting through lucid dreaming?
Actually, I'd be curious as to Thomas as to how you would sort of differentiate astral projection, like how you would explain it to someone. Because I mean, I've heard so many different explanations, but I'd be curious how you would explain it.
I don't like distinguishing them because they're both being aware while you're in a non-physical state. So I do
Yeah.
in both. But I've had both where I've meditated in a lucid dream and I've projected. But I don't think it was even projection. It was me just raising my I hate to say vibration. I hate that word. But raising because that seems so like inaccessible. I raised my what's another word for that?
You raised your eyebrows.
I raised my eyebrows and I felt myself.
You raised your power level. You leveled
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
level up.
a lot better. By the way, I did wear my Goku shirt to the Qigong thing the other day, so great.
I applaud you, Mike.
Sorry, Thomas, were you still more than that? You were saying?
Thanks, man.
The ending of that ended with me projecting sort of even within a lucid dream into an even more non-physical state, a much more purified form, into a whole other sort of subtle realm. But it's all non-physical awareness, which is awesome that you get to do any of it. So to be aware in a non-physical state, I mean, call it lucid dreaming or astral projection. I don't really know the difference, but I fully support it.
I think the simple way I've sort of been able
You
to
had a dream with Emma
compartmentalize.
Watson?
What about Emma Watson? What are we so?
She's
I
hot.
don't know. Somebody had a sexy dream with Emma Watson. I hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was, Victor was talking about a couple minutes ago.
I don't want to talk about it. It's private.
Hermione.
Don't want to
Hermione,
embarrass
man.
Emma. Don't kiss and tell. So I was just gonna say the simple way I sort of differentiate with astral projection, just in like a couple sentences, is that I see astral projection as the intentional practice of going into a meditation and then like leaving your physical body and kind of going into that. And it is a lucid dream state, but it's like a lucid dream state where you're still like within this dimension of reality, and you're able to like float around and like go see your friend's car parked on the driveway around the corner, sort of thing. But then it goes outside of those brackets, because it's like people talk about astrally projecting to like other dimensions and stuff like that, or other planets and stuff. So I mean, yeah, it can get really far out there.
I like what you said about like
Far out, man.
that being where we came from, and like
Yeah.
I always feel like I feel more at home, like just like with the comfortability thing. I feel much more at home in a dream than I do in waking life. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you gotta find you gotta leave your comfort zone to be successful in life too, and you kind of have to learn that as well. But you can also go back to your comfortability state, like your core comfortable state, like your core like home feeling within your dreams. It's
Beam me
it's
up,
pretty awesome.
Scotty.
That's very common for individuals that come into this world with a much more open and enhanced consciousness than most. You still feel a need for connection. That's basic human need, but it's not so easy for these people oftentimes to find that connection with other human beings because it feels so different. And so looking for outlets to experience that is very common, and I think that's what you're describing there when you're feeling more at home and in the etheric realms or where you're not entirely in your physicality. It feels more at home to you because it's closer to where you came from. It feels more familiar to that than it does the physical denseness of being human.
Nice.
That's cool. Hey Joel.
Wait,
by the
I
way.
just have a question. Do you guys see Mr. Potato Head, or do you actually see me?
We see Mr. Potato Head.
I see you.
Damn it.
Aren't they one and the same?
Well, I just I keep turning my camera on and I keep seeing Mr. Potato Head. And
It's here.
I see the potato now. It's pretty cool, actually. It's like crazy.
He's got a smug look on his face.
Does Mr. Potato
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Looking
you
very
guys don't
smug
see
today.
me?
No,
I
just
see like both.
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
I honestly can't tell who's who. I'm not sure who the potato guy is.
Can I rant about being Spider-Man in a dream?
Hey, that's
Rant or
pretty
brag?
cool.
Can I rant about being Iron Man?
Because I mean, Peter Parker is very practical.
Can I
I-
rant about how I was Spider-Man today?
Peter Parker is
Oh,
a
you
very
were.
practical guy.
Have you invented your own web shooters yet, Brendan?
No, boss's orders. I'm not allowed to use them at parties. Can't make a mess of things.
You
I
got
know.
silly string. You got silly string on your wrist.
Oh, I'd love it. Believe me. But yeah.
Oh, Brendan.
I still think Tobey Maguire did so much of a better job, man.
No.
It's
Okay.
debatable. It's debatable,
I don't
but I
know.
agree. Andrew Garfield gets more of like the nerdy, like kind of jokester side, like the lanky kid type thing. But I feel like
Right.
you root for Tobey Maguire more. I feel like. You
I
root for
feel
him
like
more.
in the third one, when he went to the dark side, I felt like that was one of his best. Oh man,
But what about the dancing? The dancing?
that dancing was off the hook, man.
So speaking of segues, back to dreams. I had another idea. Or Victor, did you want to talk about how you dreamed about being Spider-Man?
I'd like to.
Sure, go for it, man.
It's
60 seconds or less.
okay. 60 seconds or less. If you guys know anything about inertia, inertia is when you're in a car and when you stop and you're going really fast, you feel all your stomach, all your organs just push forward. When you're swinging as Spider-Man, it's incredible. You're like running off of walls. You're jumping off the wall. You're swinging a web. You can feel the inertia of it, if you know what I'm saying. When you're sitting on a swing, and then you like swing up, and then you jump off, and then you're just in the air, and you're just like falling down, and then you just swing another web. And it's like that was like like 2 years of my life just lucid dreaming. All I did was just be Spider-Man, and I did nothing else. And then something interesting is that you get bored of the action easily. You get bored of the action so easily, and then you start moving towards sexual dreams. You start moving towards just weird circumstances that you're in. You start moving towards talking to people that you haven't been with in a while. But anyways, I loved being Spider-Man. It was like the coolest thing I've ever done. Ever.
I imagine that would be hard on the digestive system.
What happens after that?
I imagine that would be hard on the digestive system and the colon, like swinging. But in the dream, yeah, man. I mean, honestly. But like my thing is like I'm always searching for something more important than a sexual encounter in my dreams. But I always get sidetracked and trying to find this thing, whatever I'm trying to find. You know, like Aladdin's lamp or something, and I always get sidetracked, and then in the sexual dream, and then, you know, you just wake up and it's like, man, I knew I was looking for something.
Yeah, that's
So-
actually I was gonna ask that to Thomas during the show. I just forgot, but like, yeah, like what do you feel we should direct our focus towards once we sort of develop a habit with lucid dreaming, and we're not there to just give in to the fascination, or give in to the quote unquote like even distractions of the dream space. Like, what do you feel that there is once we sort of like look for something more genuine? What can we gain out of the dream space other than just something that's like purely entertainment?
Have you already postulated something around that?
Yes, but I'd be curious as to like what Thomas had kind of on that topic, I guess. But yeah, we can talk about that. So.
I think it's always about self-discovery and about knowing yourself more fully. And I have to admit, I spent so many years flying around and having so much dream sex. It was.
Wow, see, it's just like they find us, man.
But you get so bored with it, or you either get bored with it, or it just becomes something.
It was bad, man. I wouldn't say like in my. No, go ahead, bro.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
some say that that's how your spirit body's travels. Is another way of looking at the the dreamscape is what's happening with you just right outside of the physical body, right? So in your spiritual body, if you're outside going having a lot of dream sex, then you're actually playing out a lot of addictions that in your physical life you do not have an outlet to express. So you would feel like you would have an unhealthy expression of them. So instead, in your soul body, that's where you take it out on, because you don't worry about any ramifications in that state or what others might think. It's an interesting thing, but that connection exists.
In Tibetan dream yoga, they call it the desire body when you come out into the dream time. So a lot of it is like impulsive desires that you're having. So I spent a lot of time doing that, but that got really old. And ultimately, then you got to look around and realize the magic that's around you. And there's so much insight. There's so much guidance. There's ultimately, though, there's so much self-discovery is what it's really about. Is who am I? Who am I really?
I was gonna say like it was bad, man. Like it got to a point where like human physical like human women like they would say they'd be interested or something, or they'd want a one night stand or something, but I got so into the lucid dreams that I was tired, sometimes when I woke up, so I wouldn't even feel the need for the physical human women, and so oh yeah, man, it could be bad.
Whoa. That's very interesting. That's true. You have to be careful with kind of.
Not just succubuses, like
Yeah.
alien women, like
Abstract creatures, no body.
yes. Well, I mean, they all had some form of breast or,
Here's the thing.
JJ,
In all seriousness, I actually like totally understand what you're saying there. like totally understand that. Like it is interesting. But you do get bored of it. You get bored of it really easily, and you start wanting to, like the Inception movie, like like the heist of your own mind. You want to find it. You want to find what makes you tick, or what makes you like this certain idea, or what makes you like this certain genre of music.
It sounds a lot like the effect of medicinal plants. It's to induce an altered state in a way, and experience yourself from higher perspectives there. But then, yeah, you get bored of it because you have a physical body that's still lingering here, so you need to actualize what you experience in the real world somehow.
What really interested me after dream sex and before I got really into like, well, how do things work here in the dream world on how am I actually affecting change, was dream characters, and I would interact with them and I would ask them questions, and I want to hear from you guys like your interactions. But some people would speak full-on gibberish, and I'd be fully lucid and be like, hey, how are you, and what are you doing? And they'd be fully gibberish. And then there were others who were so fully conscious. They were people who were almost as if when I entered into the space around them, it was so solid. Because oftentimes when you have to, when you're lucid, you have to constantly balance being lucid. the space around them was so established and so concrete that I could let my awareness maybe be lackadaisical. And they were so fully aware, as if they were lucid too. So I'm just curious, have you ever encountered both of those, where there's someone who's speaking gibberish, or whether there's someone fully, completely conscious?
Indeed.
Yeah.
I guess no one has.
Or not? Okay.
It's an excellent question that I
I've
don't know the answer
experienced
to. So.
where I can. This is a little unrelated, but like if you have dream characters and you don't want them to be there, you can make them disappear, and then another person they won't listen to me. They'll be more like powerful, a more powerful part of my subconscious or something. I don't know if that could be.
Sort of like your subconscious mind. Not to compare to anybody to schizophrenic, but I don't know if you've ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, and he's like, and he's seen all these secret agents, and he has his best friend, and they're both telling him about like the Russians, and like he's got to worry about the Russians, but they're still well realized people in his mind. I think it's similar to that. You meet these people, and they're so well realized, and they almost have their own personalities and personas, and they have something to say, and they're always there to say it. But I've never really dealt with reoccurring characters. I've always dealt with like people I know usually. You know, I used to like have violent dreams where I'd be like a superhero, like kicking ass to like the bad guys and stuff, and like sort of like an infamous type dream where like I'm like beating thugs with like electricity and stuff. But like I'd wake up and I'd actually feel like a sort of feeling of guilt. I didn't like beating the crap out of people. I realized I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it at all, actually, and that's really interesting because I love playing video games that are really violent and stuff. But that really taught me a lot about like actually going in there and feeling the punch, giving that guy the punch, and it doesn't feel as good at all.
No, it doesn't, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I wouldn't say like, like the whole thing, like thought frequency can equal attraction, the law of attraction, and all that. It's like I could play some Zelda or something, man, but I can't play like Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that anymore. It's just too like I don't know.
I can't either. I got GTA 5. I liked it for a bit, and then there was a little while where I was doing these lucid dreams, and like I was sort of like growing spiritually. Now I can't really play many video games now lately. Like lately, I've had a lot of troubles playing violent video games, and that's never happened to me before.
Relate to that, yeah.
I can still play Super Smash Bros.
Oh, Smash Bros is the best.
Yeah, that's classic.
But like, there's something about GTA and all those free roam games whenever you can like kill people, and it's just like this feels weird. I don't know.
Like, it's better when like they're polygons and they don't look like people. There's like shitty graphics and stuff. It's like, it's just a cartoon. But like when it gets really like amazing looking, you're like, this is really weird. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's like the realm of the uncanny.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting thing though. I mean, does that say something about ourselves? Like, does that mean we're like more consciously spiritually evolved or something? Because like
Absolutely,
the idea to want to like engage with the violence, that seems like a very carnal thing. So I mean, no, I agree though. Like I was talking with a friend about this today. I used to play video games all the time, and I was desensitized to violence and everything like that, but then eventually it just got to the point where my computer broke itself. I never fixed it, and I haven't really like looked back. I don't miss video games in the same way, but I still like love. Yeah, like I prefer the video games where it's more just like sprites and geometry. Like Geometry Wars I love that game. I'd play that over GTA any day.
Yeah.
Where it's more about like the skill and less about the fascination of like, like creating a simulation where you can murder people and get away with it. Like, yeah, just even if it's a game, it seems really weird.
Kind of bouncing off the same topic, I kind of had a little bit of a theory a few months back where I was like I was ranting to people I knew about, and they were like, "Dude, that's crazy. What are you talking about? Lucid dreaming isn't even real." But like, yes, people that like don't even believe what I'm talking about.
Of course.
But I sort of got the theory that maybe the next step of video gaming, virtual reality, is connecting into the dream world.
Yeah.
Maybe connecting, like, because it feels so real sometimes. When I was talking about inertia, a few minutes ago, like, it feels so much better than a video game. You know,
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
I
yeah.
was just gonna say, like, that's like there's two sides to that coin, because I've played around with that similar idea of, like, yes, like merging like the internet with the dream space and technology, and creating boundaries and rules that tap into like the nature of our dream space, but can use it to like browse the server and go into places, and it's still like you wouldn't have to create a computer, but rather you create a computer to augment the dream space, and the engine is like the reality of our internal world. But the other side of that is that, like, what would happen if lucid dreaming suddenly became something that was marketable, and
Oh man, that'd be
that people
weird.
could receive in like a pill or download on a file or something like that, and it would almost like eradicate the whole process of the esoteric sciences involved with what we were talking about today, that involved like meditation and practice and stuff like that. Like that's like a scary idea where people, and then it would just get totally perverse, right? Like suddenly people, like the porn industry would get involved, and then it would just, it'd be crazy, it'd be ridiculous. So, but I don't know. It may, like, I feel like there is a potential for things to go that way.
You're saying it wouldn't be as pure as it could be with.
Right.
It's I think what would happen is it would just be like, it's like ads. When ads came to YouTube, people just were like, oh, what is this? Like, you're having a lucid dream, you're flying through the air, and then it's like, oh, Comcast, support Comcast today. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, guys, I'm just gonna walk away from the computer for a bit. FYI. Thomas, are you sticking around for a while? I mean, don't you have to do like regular human things tomorrow?
Yeah, I have a big
regular human things. I love that.
I have to journey into this wonderful bed here. This is gonna be wonderful. So
nice.
Oh, that's comfy.
Do that?
You picked out a good bed for lucid dreaming.
Just teach us how you sleep.
I'm gonna go. I hope you guys all cozy spasm tonight. I hope you get into bed and it's so fucking cozy that you have to kick your feet and like scream. I think you're onto something spiritually if you are in that state. So,
hey Thomas.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little, like, just a little bit about your book? Is it like story based, or is it a lot of like step by step, like giving examples? Because I'm really interested in reading it.
It's pretty practical. It's not really. There's tons of dreams in it, but it's very practical on guide teaching you how to become lucid.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna look into it.
Cool, man. I get like 30 cents per book, so I'm gonna be a rich
Red
man.
baby.
Did somebody just say Navi?
Yeah,
Navi's here, guys.
That was Navi.
Hey, Luke, listen.
Luke?
Link.
Link? Did I say Luke?
Yeah.
It's the Yoda. Just imagine a little Yoda Navi.
R2D2 is Navi, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's my notification. It goes off whenever someone sends me a text message.
Oh,
Really? That's awesome.
I had like the treasure chest opening noise. The
Before I go, I just want to say you should be recording some stuff with your voice. You have an awesome, very, very, I don't know, very relaxing voice. So I encourage
You're talking to Joel?
No, you.
Me?
Yeah.
Radio.
You have a good voice.
There's
You
a
do.
radio
fuck,
voice.
You could do like that one lady that does the she does phone sex. She's like a hermaphrodite, but she does these like really.
Wow.
Her name is Isabella Valentine, and like
Ooh.
I didn't know she was a
Wow.
hermaphrodite, I guess, but she has a really sexy voice, so I don't really care because I'm just listening to her voice. I don't,
So honest.
but, yeah.
Yeah. No, thanks, Tom. I'll see what
I wasn't thinking of you when I said that, but I'm just saying, like, you can do something.
Yeah, maybe I should like
could do
host a radio
something.
show or something. That'd be kind of cool.
You can also record meditations through
Too funny.
people.
Oh, that's good.
Hypnotism, man, or something.
Hypnotism? Oh yeah, maybe. That'd be kind of neat. Or like, or you know what you could do, because this is actually something that people have done. You do like a guided lucid dreaming audio thing where you listen to it as you fall asleep, and it's like focus on your breath. Now
Yeah.
imagine you're walking
Those
through a field.
are always
Feel your
those
wings.
always match the dreams.
Yeah.
You
Like,
think
that's how
binaural
I do-
beam, Like there are binaural beats for that sort of thing. Do you think binaural beats work for those? I've never tried it, but like I've seen those videos, like lucid dreaming binaural beats, like 9 hours, like on
Some of
YouTube.
them do, and some of them don't. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
It depends on the file, actually, if it's like a compressed version of it.
I listened to a radio show one time. That's how I tapped into the what they call like the fairy realm. That's how I tapped into it, because the dude was talking about, well, you know, you have to hug a tree and then feed this tree every day, and then I was feeding them oxtails, and oxtails kept showing up in the driveway, and like just by hearing that while I was asleep, I was able to go into this whole place, and there were like witches, elves, and goblins, and
You were like induced into it completely.
Yes,
Oh, man.
but it worked.
I was listening to this radio show once, and this guy had a really nice voice.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Wow.
Guys, I'm gonna head out, but I just want to send a link over here. I want to. I'm gonna send a link like that.
Oh.
Is an experiment that hasn't been released yet, and it's an experiment by doing the wake back to bed, and it's really fun. There's 2 parts to it.
That is always a guarantee of a lucid dream.
So there's a 2.5-minute video, and then watching it explains, and then you go to sleep for 6 hours, and then you click on the next video, which is the 15-minute guided sort of meditation, which it's awesome. It hasn't been released yet, so try it out.
These look like pretty professionally produced videos too.
That's
Dude,
what
you know, like, I wouldn't be in this chat. I wouldn't be subscribed to Paradigm Shift Radio or anything like that. I wouldn't be following all these paradigm shifty topics if it wasn't for lucid dreaming. Like, lucid dreaming really set me on a path. It was my first thing, like, that set me on this path. Because at the time, I was actually an atheist. I'm not religious or an atheist now. I'm just spiritual. And it's like, it's really interesting where it took me.
Guys, I want to say farewell. You guys are great.
Thanks, Thomas.
Hey.
Peace, bro. Peace, bro.
Awesome.
Live long and prosper, man.
Be Spider-Man tonight. You gotta be Spider-Man.
See you in the astral.
All right, see you guys.
I shall see you at the pyramids.
Wow.
Alright, okay, I'm just stepping away from the computer, guys, so I'll be back or whatever. But yeah. Hey, did Andy left? That's why it's quiet in here.
The thing is, he comes and goes, man. That's just Andy.
Yeah, that is Andy. He totally does that.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
I mean,
I'll be back.
Andy's awesome, man. But sometimes, like we'll be talking about a subject, and then he'll be like, oh, well, you know, the thing about that is, and it'll be a completely different topic.
Andy knows. I love Andy's perception. That guy's awesome. He has an interesting perception.
He's an innovator.
He's dialed in.
Who's Andy? I don't know who he is.
Half of us don't even know.
Andy's the guy with the glasses. He's a good friend of mine. He lives not very far from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. The States?
I mean,
I'm guessing it's in the States.
Well, we're in like walking distance.
USA.
We're in like walking distance.
I'm Canadian, eh?
Maybe driving distance, but yeah, me and Andy.
Who's a Canadian here?
Oh, that's me. Does anybody here know about the teacher strike? British Columbia, dude. All my exams got canceled. All of my exams, and my summer just started 2 weeks earlier because of the teacher strike. It was like the most ecstatic feeling I've ever had. This is the announcements come on, and everyone just goes silent. All their conversations stop. It's like there will be a more important announcement in 10 seconds, and everyone's just like staring at each other, like, what's gonna happen? Is there gonna be exams? Is there not gonna be exams? Because there was this whole rumor like floating around that because of the strike that's happening over here, that all exams in the province get canceled, and that's what happened. It was like the best feeling I've ever had, because now I have a 2-week longer winter break. I mean, not winter break, summer break, and I don't know. It was awesome, and it was the same day. It was the same day that I had that running on water dream, and like that day was just so perfect. If I could go back and time travel, I'd relive that day again because I was in such a good feeling and a good attitude. I just went to bed. I knew my day was awesome. And then I had like an epic dream that like I didn't even plan for, and I never even thought about running on water ever. Hey, it's Andy.
Told ya, you
So this
little.
is Andy.
I know. Kakarot is back.
Oh, there he is. Ready for the pain.
Dude, Victor, when you talked about your so-called lucid dream, I was like, dude, that is pretty normal too, you know. When
Yeah,
you
which one?
Like you were talking about how your lucid dreaming, your experience actually like led you to Paradigm Shift. If you really like Paradigm Shift, at least you'll like my show, really.
Yeah, you sent me a link. I didn't even know you had one. You should add me on Facebook.
It
You
only
didn't
took
even
about
know it.
4 or 7 links for him to get it up and running.
Yeah, which I don't know how to organize any of these links. What is what here? Like,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, guys. Like, just imagine what happens in the past few weeks, and my computer just go in and out, in and out. And I was like, God damn it!
Oh wow.
Ay,
It happens,
ay, ay.
man.
Especially when I bought my $87 laptop, which is like so old right now. Ugh.
$87. What a steal! What a steal!
It's been used for 3 years by somebody else, and now they're giving it to me as a gift. I was like, oh God, no.
Wait, Andy, where's your Jesus picture, man? We gotta see that.
Can you see it?
Wait, hang on. Oh, hello. Look.
Yeah, Mom is Catholic.
What's
That's
the
why.
purpose of the Jesus picture?
Mom is a Catholic. I'm actually a
Interesting.
Buddhist.
How does she feel about that? I don't know.
You know, that's one of the common things that even I had to ask Victor about because seriously, he said that he was an atheist, right? Well, I'm also an atheist. Before
I believe in
Wait,
Marvel.
Wait, okay, hang on, but I'm saying there's a difference. Why do you say that, Andy? Because you believe in metaphysics and all this other stuff where you know.
Well, when
It's
I
up
meant
to you, of course.
well,
But
when
I'm
I
saying.
meant by being an atheist, I just don't I don't actually believe in a deity or a god. That's all that is.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I mean, you believe in yourself.
Here's my opinion. I think if you try to put a finger on it, it's not that you're ignorant, but you're just like, you still don't know. If you're putting a finger on it, like you're just like, this is how it is. Like it's like, come on, nobody
Right,
really knows. Nobody really knows. Like let's all calm down here. We're all having spiritual
Indeed.
experience. We're all having our own
Right.
we all have our own psychological like things going on in our mind that are making us think one thing and making us think another. We're all on our own path,
Well,
and
that's the
nobody.
thing.
Maybe everybody has their own deity that goes with them. The people, you know,
Right.
there's really
Right.
there's really like indigo style like theory that like all of our consciousnesses are a piece of the God consciousness, and it's a
Right,
it's a
right.
frequency. It's a frequency within that God consciousness. And when you meditate,
You know-
you access your true self, your true God consciousness, the true piece of that puzzle that is the infinite like intelligence. And everybody
Yeah,
represents
Right.
everybody
Right.
represents that frequency.
But what I
I mean,
meant
that's the way I look at it. With this.
Well,
I gotta
what
go
I
get pizza. I'm
well,
getting pizza, guys.
Well, guys, like, what I meant is that
Enjoy.
when I was a kid, I was taught that this so-called God consciousness is like this kind of human, you know. It's pretty scary, you know. Like every one of us have once in a while experienced Christianity torture you for a while. It happened to me, but at a severe case. I thought I was gone.
Oh yeah, I think the thing on this planet, man, is always as it has been that you know, dark versus light, but that's what separates it and messes the whole thing up. You know, but when we get back to oneness, I feel like that truly, you know, is
Well, that's the
the
thing.
goal.
That's
Is this
the
potato guy
thing.
talking? Because I like what you're saying, potato guy.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Well,
I don't know who's talking on
that's
that
the
side.
thing, Michael. In fact, do you know
Good
that
point.
I actually like, here's the thing. You might not notice it, but I actually experienced that oneness when I was actually 4 years of age. Even before I actually learned how to talk, I already know what oneness is.
You know, I get you guys are making me so mad now because I wish I talked about this earlier. But I have this dream that I can't believe I just remembered it, but it's this dream that I've coined for myself, the end of the universe. And it's a dream where I'm looking from two perspectives. One of the perspectives is the female energy, and the other is the male energy. And we're looking at a sunset, and I can feel the roundness of the earth.
Okay. That was weird.
What the hell?
I don't know. I'm over here making stuff, and then the world crashes. He was talking about the end of the universe, then that happened.
Yeah.
What just happened? Did the universe just end?
Yes.
Yes. Gone.
What the heck just happened? It was just like server error, right when I was like getting really ranty.
You know, that's what I was. That was what I was trying to answer for like hours. Whenever.
Anyways,
That's
dream
what's happening is they out the Google Hangout.
The dream ended with both energies just turning into one, and all of a sudden it was like a black hole. All of the energy in the universe just like pushed into one, and I woke up and like it was like everything was just one.
Was that the end or was it the beginning?
Ah.
It was the end. It was the end of a process of oneness and a beginning to a new intelligent experience of epic proportions.
There's this theory that I've had and I didn't know was an actual thing, but you know, antimatter is a thing, and they say that there's enough of it that once the universe is done accelerating, like because we're accelerating right now, like everything.
Yeah, it's expanding.
And then at some point it's just gonna stop, or it's gonna keep going forever. But I don't think that's gonna happen. It's just gonna stop, and then it's just gonna be a big crunch. It's just gonna come back and just have a big bang again.
You know, there's an interest. I love what Joe Rogan talks about. Joe Rogan has this like, it's in his stand-up comedy, but you can tell he's also like really interested in the idea. It's like that the Big Bang is like a pulse. It's like it just pulses out, and then it comes back in, and it pulses out, and it comes back in and the intelligence just keeps learning with each pulse. The intelligence is learning from each experience, and it's just becoming more and more and it's getting faster as it's doing it. And he's talking about, and it's like a really funny stand-up bit too. He's talking about like the Hadron Collider. The Hadron Collider.
In our body by our heartbeat as well. If you think about it, it lasts a certain amount of time, that this pulsation, and then the physiology ends altogether to transmute into an even bigger experience.
Yeah. Have you guys heard that theory about the universe being similar to a structure of the brain cells? And how galaxies
it's actually more than that.
I don't understand that. Can somebody? I can see the resemblance between brain cells and like galaxies, but like, what is the real like? Is there like an amygdala out there in the universe, like a giant amygdala?
Okay, so you should know by now, like the universe has certain patterns that exist just everywhere, and nature has just patterns on how it asserts itself, like Fibonacci.
You mean like? Yeah, Fibonacci. Yeah.
Look, it's like even in your hand, the little spiral, and then like your brain cell is just like another comparison. I mean, it's just the way it goes, and I mean, your iris of your eye looks like a nebula, and your freaking toes look like rivers going into the ocean. I don't know.
As above, so below.
Well, that's the same thing that I read when I read this book called The Tantra of Tajikawa-Ryu. They described the body as the universe itself.
You're just describing a fractal universe that everything exists within a smaller version of itself.
Yeah, and then what you're experiencing, Victor, is very similar to what we call sex, dude.
Sex again.
Yup.
That's coming up today.
The moment when you see two perspective as one thing, that's the moment you have reached heaven Same thing with sex is when you don't see any difference between your partner and yourself, you're already reached heaven.
Wow. I've never really thought about that actually. That's pretty poetic.
Well, if you try it yourself, you'll find out about it.
Sex?
Yeah. So plenty of that, and you'll be like sending yourself flying out.
He also lose a lot of his ojas.
I wonder what kind of lucid dream somebody has after, sex. They're just
Well,
like
I
they're just
did.
ecstatic in the dream. They're just like a rocket, and they're just going up into space, and like they hear epic music, just like trumpets and stuff.
Aerosmith.
Well, me
Yeah,
me is like a little different. Is that when I was having sex with this Dakini, I don't remember this, but like I remember the last time this Dakini is not any regular Dakinis. This is a teenager, a teenage girl came over to my house, said, "Can I come and live with you?" And then when I put her in bed, she's like, "Can I sleep by?"
Oh. That can happen.
That's
Did you get
amazing.
censored?
That's amazing. That was amazingly timed.
Dude. Well, that's yeah, and she tells me like just come sleep by, and then bam, I just accepted the offer.
That is a special moment.
Yeah, and then
That
after
sounds very
that,
special.
like after that sex moment, I was like back into light, and all of a sudden, bam, like the whole universe lit up like a fire.
Wow.
Sounds like a good time.
You saw a lot of light, you're saying.
Yeah, it's not just simply me, but like there's billions of copies of the same version of myself, which happens to be somebody else in there somewhere. And it all started out with a little girl came to my
How
house.
they love the kiss, how they didn't end up like this.
Nice. Wait, how did we get to this topic? Does anybody have like good memory? Can everybody like go backwards in this conversation?
What do you want to know?
I have a terrible memory, so I'm just watching the show, honestly.
How did we get here? How did we get here, man? That's the most philosophical question. How did we get here, guys?
So when you say here, is it like here in this hangout or
You're in this life,
Here in
bro.
this world, in this universe, I mean,
Why are you
the
that
Big
guy?
Bang Theory, what?
Well, then let me ask you guys, like, what do you guys do before you were born?
Nothing.
Does anybody remember the conscious moment when in their childhood? I remember I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was just, you know what I mean? Like you were just conscious. You were conscious in the sense that you were like aware of things around you, like almost like you were doing a reality check for lucid dreams. Like you were conscious for the first time, and you were really thinking about things. You weren't just playing with your toys mindlessly like a kid. You were just like actually conscious, sort of thing.
Well, that's the thing. Do you ever heard of the fact that kids can be able to talk to ghosts more easily than adults? Because that's
Yeah. Maybe
Hey,
that's
that's-
like the end of that era for you when you become conscious.
Yeah, that's what happens. In fact, when I was a child, I speak to animals all the time.
You know, I knew a friend, and he said that he totally believes this, and I actually believe him. He says when he was a kid, he could just look at somebody while they were sleeping and know what they were dreaming, and when they woke up,
Oh,
he'd tell them
really?
what they were
That's
dreaming.
intense.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I can do the same thing, and although I'm like a 20-year-old right now, it's
Yeah,
just
I gotta get a
somehow.
webcam. Skype called me, and you gotta predict what I'm dreaming.
Well, if I were you, I would come over to your house and try to like sleep by you, and then hopefully I will.
Dude, Skull's gonna mute you again.
Like that is the best way. Is you have to gaze at me right in the eye, and then hopefully I will read your mind, dude. That was part of who I am when I was a child, like 4 years old until now.
Sort of like intuitive abilities.
Yeah, that was one of my gifts as an empath, is that I didn't realize it until one day Joel pointed it out to me.
The closest thing I have to intuitive abilities like that is if I'm in a group of friends or even with a group of strangers, and I'm just like hanging out with people, sometimes like things we're all having like a really interesting conversation. The conversation is flowing, and if people are just stop talking and nobody's saying a word, I'll say something that everyone was thinking, and this happens to me all of the time, almost like every day. For some reason, this is something that's never left me as like an intuitive thing. People always looked at me as like the class clown growing up, and I don't think it was always that I was just really funny, and I always had a funny energy, a humorous energy growing up, but it was more so that I tapped into what people I was tapping into people's funny bone. I knew exactly like what to say to make that person laugh. And I always noticed growing up that if I was hanging out with any new person, I would just totally know how to get along with them and like make them feel like comfortable. I was always good at that growing up. But then I got to high school and everyone was all like self-conscious and like didn't say anything ever.
Well, you knew how to tickle someone's pickle.
Indeed.
Wow.
Well, same over here, but the only problem is that instead of tickling people's funny bone, I always tickle people's fear.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
It's almost like as though when I gaze at you, you know that you're hiding something from me, and I was like, "Are you trying to hide something from me?" And then, bam, she's like, "Oh, heck no! What did I do?"
I'm a really good lie detector. I know when people are lying. I can just like totally.
That's what I meant. Is that I'm a crazy lie detector to the point where
that's awesome.
Like somebody were to lie to me, I would say, "Come on, spit it out. I bet you you're lying." And then like that happens to several of my friends when I gaze at them in the eye, and then bam, I already found out that there's something not right. And then she's like, "Dude, this is bad." She felt so embarrassed to even talk about it. Like if you know this girl named Bonnie, she used to come on here all the time, and like.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, last time I came to her house, she didn't tell me this, but like she was having this her periods. I came into her house.
Wow.
Are you sure she wanted
I
to
felt like there's something not right. But then, as we go along with the days, and then next thing you know, I try to gaze at her directly in the like the eye because she keeps telling me that she's having a bad stomach ache, and I can feel it. And then when I did gaze at her, that's when I asked her, "Is there something wrong with your belly? Because I feel something really funny on my belly also when I gaze at you."
Pregnant.
And that's when she exposes that she's in her periods, and I was like, "Okay, can I help you?" And then just gaze at her for 10 minutes, and then bam, she's gone from an extremely painful moment to like this. A moment of total relief.
So you have the ability to relieve basically?
Yeah, that's you can say that.
That's crazy.
You know, that was part of what happened. Is that what I didn't tell Joel is that I was actually on kava and several other herbs that I took during the morning. I don't know how I shoot it up on people, but like. When I was on those stuff, like there's no way that even an illness that simple would take me down, you know.
Yeah, herbs when used regularly, like having
Which
a
kind?
tea, say 3 times a day, will have can have strong medicinal effects on you. And then
it's almost like as though when my friend Bonnie come face to face with me, she's like, "Dude, I don't think you're Andy. I feel like you're like that immortal guy from the Taoist people."
She said that?
Well, like I can tell in her head that she's trying to say that, but she didn't really said it.
Wait, when was this? When you came over
I came over
to her house?
Yeah, I came over to her house like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
She was menstruating?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, you guys all live in the same area?
Yeah, Austin area. She lives like 20 miles away from me, and I just like bike down there or go by car.
Yeah.
Are you a drifter, Andy?
A drifter? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah,
I think you're. I don't know. You just. I take you for a drifter.
What's a drifter?
Say I'm a drifter.
Yeah, like I was like asking, what's a drifter?
Yo,
Like,
guys, I was just gonna say I'm gonna switch off the live broadcast in the next minute or two, just giving you a heads up. But you guys can just keep hanging out in here. I just gotta shut things down for the night. So
just for good closure, I had the
I'm
pepperoni.
tired a little.
Just for good closure.
who do you call when you want some pepperoni?
There's actually this guy. His name was Lon Milo Duquette, and he I don't know if you guys ever heard of the OTO before. This is basically like a secret society, and he took over, but he said, yeah, well, this
Not
was
so
the one,
secret.
Aleister Crowley was a part of it for some time, but this guy took over, and this guy's still living. And he said his wife made him this quiche. It was like this really delicious quiche, but he would eat so much of it that it would kind of make him a little bit, maybe overeat the quiche a little bit. But whenever he'd go to sleep, this quiche would push him out of his body, and he would have these lucid dreams by eating this quiche, this delicious quiche that I guess his wife.
Oh hell, the hypno
prepared
key.
for him. right. But it's just interesting. It's just, but actually, I would say, to be honest, the most successful method that I know that's a guarantee is the way to bed method. I wouldn't do it drinking as much water, so you have to pee in the morning. I wouldn't do it that way. The way I kind of do it is my dog sleeps in the same room as me, so she'll just start whimpering and wanting to go outside in the morning. So I will just open the door for her, and I'll be semi-awake, and I can just go right back to bed. And it's a guaranteed lucid dream every time.
You're saying you open the door for your dog and then you go back to bed and then you lucid dream?
Yeah, because I'm really not. It doesn't take that much to just walk to the door and close it.
Right. Yeah, I do that a lot too, where I just wake up, I'll do something that's something I have to consciously do, and then go back to bed and I'll totally lucid dream.
Yeah, you can't be that awake.
Or if you really want,
You can't be that awake.
I did something really crazy where I drink coffee and then bam, it happens.
You drink coffee right when you wake up and then go back to bed?
No, it's I drink coffee 6 or 8 hours before I go to bed, and then bam, when the stimulus just wears off, that's when I start having crazy stuff coming out.
It sounds like when people wake up and you're in a different brain state, that it brings a bit of a balance when you get back into your sleeping state.
Which I heard.
I'm not sure if it would be which one of the wavelengths it would be, delta or.
It has to be around delta or beta, because that's where I was, and I was that's why whenever I go through nightmares, I was really reacting for real to what is going on in there, as though somebody is about to bust into my house.
No, just to go back onto dreams, I had a dream, and this is one of my favorite dreams of all time, where I was a cloud of red smoke, and I could re-manifest into a human body, but there was no flying as a human body. The only way I could fly was to turn into a cloud of smoke, and I could jump 50 feet in the air and then turn into a cloud of smoke, and then red smoke, and go through walls and go in through buildings and fly through the air and kind of go with the wind, and then re-manifest as a body. And it wasn't I was a disembodied sort of thing. I could feel which part of the smoke was my leg. I could feel which part of the smoke was my arms, and it went into third person too, which was really interesting. Whenever I turned into smoke, I could just see smoke everywhere, and then when I turned back into a person, it was from my perspective again.
Well, Victor, that does sound like you're a ghost or somewhat a vampire.
Yeah, I was going to say during the episode.
Ghost.
During the episode, I forgot to mention, but yeah, that idea that oftentimes we dream in our dreams that we have this physical body because that's what we're used to in the waking state, but even that's just an illusion. So it's like, what are we in our dreams? But probably, like, if anything, we're probably just like this orb or something, and then we
Yeah.
just imagine everything around us.
Yeah.
Spirit
and-
So whether it's a physical,
like, here's-
hands
You know,
or
Skull,
spirit-
that's like only the least of what you can do, Like, here's this one funny lucid dream that you guys, I wish Thomas was here to listen to this one. This is so funny. But, like, when I was let me see. I actually, this is when I was, like, 9 or 10 years old. I was, like, having this moment where I was walking somewhere, and then all of a sudden I felt like I needed to go to the bathroom. And then somehow I just managed to go into this church where it has like a holy water up a giant pole of holy water right there. I just like, oh god, thank goodness. And that's when I just took off into the water, unzipped my pants, and started peeing on that holy water. And next thing you know, when I woke up, it's like I asked, how come it's so hot on my bottom?
Oh no.
I peed on it.
You added more elements
that
to
was,
the.
that story did not
the
match
water.
up with where I thought it was going. Like, I thought you were talking about something completely different.
There was no.
And then I pissed my
Like-
pants. It's just like,
Oh yeah.
No, like seriously, like you can feel like heat coming out of that liquid when like you can see yourself actually peeing. It's not just like you're an orb or anything looking, just like observing whatever's going around. You're actually like participating in it,
mm-hmm.
Well, I think
Interesting.
I think your mind.
And that's what
creates a dream
happens to
about
me
it.
is that I was so involved and so participative
I
of
think-
whatever's happening. I ended up blowing my own reality out by just peeing on my bed.
I
And
think
it wasn't. And that's like
Not very
that's how I actually stopped peeing in my bed when I was 12 years old. Like I didn't stop until like I was 12.
Andy,
Well, I was saying like. No, go ahead, bro.
Me too, man.
how old were you when you had this?
Wow.
Like-
I think me stopping myself from wetting the bed when I was younger, like maybe 9 or 8 years old, I think that was just same. That was the same as a biological clock, where you could make yourself wake up at a certain time in the morning. I think it works the exact same way. When you're like, okay, tonight I'm not gonna wet the bed. I think it worked the same way when you're younger, because when you're younger, you're self-conscious about it, especially when you're 8 or like 9 years old and you accidentally do that and you feel really embarrassed about it. Like I
Yeah.
think you psychologically go, I'm not gonna do that tonight. I'm not gonna do that
But-
tonight. And all of a sudden, like it's like a biological clock where you're making yourself wake up at a certain time.
But isn't there like two kinds of wetting the bed?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get out of Andy. I was trying to get how old was whenever he had a dream. Because
There's two kinds.
there's like wetting the bed, and then there's like wetting the bed.
I mean, one is more pleasurable, and the other is just like, oh jeez.
Oh, jizz.
Really? While I'm eating, guys?
Alright, well,
I'm sorry about that, man.
We're gonna end the live broadcast here, and like not even just because we're talking about like whatever we're talking about, but just sleep.
Pissed.
So,
This was
you
an awesome
guys
episode.
you guys can keep hanging out, obviously.
I've been waiting for you to talk about lucid dreaming again for a long time, and this was epic.
Yeah, well, the
Okay.
last lucid dreaming episode we did was actually, I don't know, it was like 10
A while
episodes
ago, I
or
listened to
something.
it. It was like a long time ago.
Wasn't that, well, I guess it was a long time ago. Yeah, a couple months or something. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll do something fun next week too. If you guys
Cool,
got
man.
any suggestions on topics, feel free to let me know.
Oh wait, your skull. Oh, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you all, I guess.
Oh, nice to
Sure,
meet you.
guys.
No,
Hi, guys.
because I never knew who Skull was. And
I've
I
successfully-
remember that voice from meditation.
I've successfully made it to every
Cool,
Google
man.
Live chat in the past 5 weeks. I'll try to make it.
You must be happy that you're not in school.
Dude, imagine waking up in the morning and you're like, oh, I gotta do my exams. Tomorrow I'm gonna just study my exams. And then the rest of the half of the day is just hanging out with people, saying goodbye because it's the last day of school all of a sudden. And everybody's just in an awesome vibe. And then you go to bed and you're running on water. That was my Friday. It was awesome.
Cool.
The
All
big
right,
kid
cool.
daycare.
We'll end it there. I'm gonna go run on water myself. We gotta get to sleep. So don't stay up too late, guys.
Pepperoni!
I know you will.
Where are you, my
Have a good night, man.
Night,
Oh,
night.
I've
Alright,
got
okay,
you going
so-
all day tomorrow
dreams.
again, so.
Say
Yeah.
say goodbye to the internets. as I end the broadcast. So bye, internets.
Bye,
Internet.
Support net neutrality.
Live long and prosper.
Wow.
Peace.